Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of the Red Devils Corner Kick Podcast, a fan podcast dedicated to Manchester United Football Club. As always, like, subscribe, follow, whether on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, and you can follow on socials on Instagram, TikTok, and X. Thank you to those who've been subscribing, following, commenting, liking, everything. I greatly do appreciate the support, the feedback. I love it. Thank you for helping me grow this as well. I'm still continuing to grow. I am slowly going to try and make myself better with the episode. So please be patient. And again, thank you. As you know, last week celebrated my 100th well, didn't really celebrate much, but I did talk about my 100th episode last week. So just over 100 episodes now of the podcast. But before, for tonight's episode, post-game recap of the men and women's squad, both ending in draws, both exciting matches. Talking about the preview for Juventus versus United's women's squad, which is going on tomorrow. Also, talking about stuff that's been happening post-game after the draw against Bournemouth. Obviously, the Mainoo brothers t-shirt has been the talk of the town. Not only that, the Kobe shirt, Bruno Fernandez's interview that happened during the international break, that's come to light as well. The air-quoted Ruben Amorim change formation is coming. He has talked about this before. So that's going to happen a little bit more later on. I want to get to the matches, then the preview, and so on and so forth. Part of it also is delay, so I do apologize for not getting out the post-game episode Sunday. Not getting the post game out yesterday for the men's squad. Part of the holdup was I was unable to watch the women's game yesterday, not yesterday, on Sunday. So tried to rewatch the game just to see everything, the goals, the movement of the ball, how everyone played for that. Overall, it was for 75 minutes, it was all Tottenham for that game. But I'm going to talk about that later in a moment. But the two main focuses is the recaps of the matches. I'm going to start with the men's squad first, go into the women's squad, then go into the preview for tomorrow's Juventus match, then go into the post-game men's reaction, post-game era, what I mean. The fallout of the game, to say the least. Excuse me. My cold went away, then it came back. Now today, it's just, come on. So I use my voice every day. So sometimes, I'm always talking every day, and that can, and plus doing multiple episodes of the podcast, can get my voice to come back and be a little dry. But yes, the cold went away. Now today it's just been, my throat has been nagging me to beyond belief. All right, let's get to the men's squad. Why? Because, I said I was going to start with the men's squad. Okay, we had a 4-4 draw yesterday against Bournemouth. To say that it was boring is an understatement. Overall, it's your opinion how to look at it. Mine was, it was a roller coaster. We started off strong. We let in a stupid goal, got it back, leading at halftime, which has been the story of it. I don't care about the record about wins, homes at halftime, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about that. We've also had, again, we would give up 2 goals very quickly. And then we draw it, take the lead, and then we fumble it right there. Listen, offensively, we were fan-fucking-tastic. Defensively, shit. That's how I'm going to describe it. Listen, Lemens was great as a keeper, made lots of saves. Like he did. He kept us in it. The mid continues to be an issue, but the back three, they got their butts kicked. You can talk about the mid for some of the goals. Obviously the free kick tough to defend. The first goal, Luke Shaw, just like the way the ball moved, Luke Shaw got tossed. Luke Shaw looks like he lost control of the ball, tried to get it back, got tossed. If you look at it here, the bump, and then they take the break, and you see Semeneo score. I did the first goal for United, and then the final two, just the way they just passed it perfectly into the legs, and they just cut through our D. Some players defensively were not great. Bruno, obviously, Ahmad, who was there for a goal. Aiden Heaven, you can be mixed about. But yeah, Luke Shaw, I thought was our worst. Unfortunately, a lot of the goals came from that middle point. And like again, Lamens can stop. Can you question one or two that he could stop? Maybe. But overall, offensively, obviously you saw the first goal. Second goal with a set piece, wonderful corner by Bruno. Another free kick goal by Bruno to tie it up. Sesko carrying, doing the cross in, obviously got the members bounce, if you know that golf reference, to Cunha, and Cunha taking the lead. And then obviously we saw the goal to draw it. Listen, overall, I was happy offensively. We have improved our goal scoring, to say the least, something that we had struggled the last couple of seasons. Defensively, we're not helping out our keeper. We're struggling in the back. Match up our defending, manning up against important people, cutting off passes, being a little bit more physical. Listen, overall, was I happy with the game? Again, I've mentioned it before. Offensively, fucking fantastic. Defensively, shit. I will be doing my player ratings in a moment here. Who is this? Like, when you're looking at the game, who is to blame? I think it's all areas of the game are there to blame. Mbuemo didn't play his best. Ahmad played okay. Casemiro took a yellow, which is now he's suspended. Bruno, yes, he scored and got an assist, was key on his kicks. Defensively, liability. Shaw, I mentioned, getting tossed around. He cannot play 90 minutes. We're hoping that Licha is back. Aiden Heaven is young. Did some good things, but those passes were precise and tough to defend and try to get into the middle. It was tough. Lenny Earl played well, I thought. Out of the back three, he was definitely one of our best. Listen, Cunha, I'm happy that he got the goal. But now we don't have Mbuemo and Ahmad. Mazraoui did go. So just give me one moment. But now that they're gone, or now that those three are gone, now we have to look at things differently. But in the end, we got a point. We didn't lose, but we did lose points. It just looked like that both teams just decided, you know what, we don't need a defense today. We'll try to outshoot each other, which is good. The one thing, again, positively compared to last season, if it was games like this, especially when we had a 2-1 lead and then we're facing back-to-back goals right away, yes, we would have crumbled a lot worse. We did fight back. We did take the lead. We just couldn't secure the lead. And that was the trouble. And substitution-wise, yes, he made some good substitutions. I would have preferred Shaw off before Euro. I would have. Licha could have just come in right there and done his business. Martinez did an impact. Sesko, I thought, made a massive impact, especially down, especially in the ball movement. Kobe Mainoo did make an impact as well. So the subs did their job. Dorgu, Xerxes, obviously coming in late. But in the end, I think everything, it should have been a win, but at the end of the day, we can't always control everything. So, okay. Let's talk. Let's talk our ratings, player ratings. Aiden Heaven, I'm going to give a 5.7. Euro 5.7, Shaw 5, Cunha 6.8, Delo, I'm giving him a 6, Bruno a 7. Yes, you have to give him the assist for what he did on the free kick and on the corner. Casemiro 6.5, Mount 6.2, Embuemo struggled today 5.8, Ahmad 6.8, Lamens, yes, you can talk about some of the goals. I'm going to give him a 6.3 because some of those saves were just fantastic. Martinez coming on 6.5, Dorgu a 6, Mainoo coming on 6.5, Xerxes 6, Sesko 6.3. He helped contribute to that Cunha goal as well. He looked like he was back. Hopefully we have him starting against Villa this weekend. And I'll be doing my post-game episode or preview game later on in the week as well. But overall the game was a draw. It was exciting, cool. But again, when I talked about the Wolves game last week, as much as we won 4-1, the issues were still there, and any other team I said would capitalize on that. And that's what happened. Bournemouth capitalized on our mistakes. And that's how we got the draw. That's how we could have lost. We don't know if De Ligt's going to be back this weekend. We don't know if Maguire's going to be back. There's speculation that they're not going to be. So we're going to be in an issue where we might struggle again. And the attack of Villa is better. It is going to be tough when we face them. So we have to hard down the mistakes and all that stuff, and we have to be able to protect. So overall, I am happy that we got the draw. I'm happy things worked out. I'm happy we didn't lose the game, but I'm also disappointed that we struggled with the goals. We struggled with we struggled with defense, the midfield, all the issues that I talked about in the win last week showed up here. So, but yes. Okay. So, sorry, I'm retraining my thought here as much as I planned out the episode. I am in a moment of trying to continue on and focus. Okay. So let's get to, so I'm just getting myself organized here, just as I'm always. And again, I said I did lose my mind a little bit. So just getting myself here. Okay, let's go to the women's game. Okay, so an exciting draw as well. Can I say tale of first 3 quarters versus the first 2/3 and then the last third? Listen, it was a draw 3-3. If you were watching the game, we did some good things on the attack, but Tottenham did defend well. Our transition, our movement worked out very well. Excuse me one second. Transition, everything moved. The ball movement was there. Just when you look at the game, they couldn't defend the cross. Those 2 goals, those 2 headers are hard to defend. Hard to defend for a toolless choice. They were. It looked like some of the Champions League game lingered into Sunday's game from what I was watching. They couldn't close. They couldn't finish. Obviously, everything continued on from that game, and we did have our struggles. As we watched the game, or as we saw the game move on, we saw things turn on. Again, in the last, 20 minutes, the United women started getting things to go their way. We saw the Toon goal. We saw the substitutions that made a difference. Skinner did make right substitutions to bring on Rolfo, who would technically be my player of the match. I think a lot of people would agree with that as well. But yeah, the Toon scored with getting the ball back. You're seeing the crosses, the movement of the not stopping. You'll see Rolfo scoring those 2 goals to get it back. Obviously, going into extras, being down a goal, the pressure, we started mounting the pressure and started moving it on. Mallard, I thought, played well in the game. I thought Toon played very well. The back four kind of struggled with the defense. Riviera looked like she was struggling. You can hate on, like, you shouldn't hate on Tulis Joyce. Those were 2 goals that were hard to defend. But we did enough to get ourselves back into it. But it was a struggle. It was. The defense was there, allowing those crosses there. We had, it was tough, just to say the least. It was tough to see them go down 3-0 that quickly. But they were able to bounce back with it, get themselves ready to go. They still gave up. And again, for some of our defenders, it was tough to defend, especially those crosses, those headers. It was tough for them. But as you saw the game go on, they did get better. Some players were struggling. Riviere, I thought, struggled a little bit. Obviously, Olme got the yellow. Mallard, Park, I thought, did well. The one thing with Park earlier on, she should have taken some of her shots one time and scored. Obviously, we didn't see that. Toon played extremely well. We saw some things that were great, and we saw some movement that was fantastic, but the substitutions by Skinner were there, and that was great. Listen, they have an important game tomorrow against Juventus, Champions League. They have to rebound against that. Did they rebound against Spurs? No, but I think hopefully the momentum that they did at the end of the match in the final 20, the final 20, hopefully carries over to tomorrow and they get what they need. But overall, we can't allow crosses like that, movement, allowing them to get the kicks off. So a lot of those corners came from Sandberg's side where they made the cross, but they were excellent headers. They were. But in the end, we still gave up 3, and we gave up 2. Like the first third of the game, it seemed even. And then the mid-third, just the gates started to open on against United. And then the final 20 minutes were like technically the final third, think about it. But like half of that final third, just United rebounded, was able to capitalize and get goals back. So realistically, you had a equal match, first third. Middle third was all Tottenham. I think mostly Tottenham, a little bit more than I should. I know I said 75 minutes because I mentioned the final 20, but the middle third, all Tottenham. The final 15 to 20 was all United. Getting themselves back, motivated, able to draw and walk away with a point, and they still dropped. But they were able to find something because, again, the struggling on Wednesday, that definitely carried over into Sunday. Let's hope that what they did at the final third goes into tomorrow as well. Okay, player ratings, to say the least, for this. With the player ratings, Tulis Joyce, I'm going to give a 5.5. Still tough on those defense as well. Ball distribution, she's slowly working her way back, and we know that. But it looks like she did struggle a little bit. Sandberg, Janssen, 6.2. Letizia, I'm going to give a 6.2. Riviere, 6.2 as well. Miyazawa, 6.2. Turland, 6.6. Olme, 6.2. Park, 6.5. Mallard, 6.7. Toon, 6.8. Rolfo, 7.5. Big difference maker. And Galton, 6 for my matchup for them. Listen, at the end of the day, we can be happy with it, but also we need to make sure that we're continuing on the movement of the ball, using the attack. Again, we saw good things. The attack was there, the movement of the ball. It is just defending some of those goals were tough, and maybe I'm a little bit harsh on it. It could be, but realistically, we have to make sure everything is hopefully good to go with them, but they have to rebound again. Like, we can't rely on a 20-minute or 20-minute rally to get the team back. We have to be able to bounce back against it because, again, we're facing a very good Juventus side tomorrow. And let's get into the preview for that matchup. Okay. So the one thing too is with Champions League tomorrow, we do have it's an important game. At the end of the day, every game is important. Though the women's squad is, I believe, moved up in their fixture or moved up in the standings, they are still facing a very good Juventus squad, to say the least. We know what they've been capable of doing. Just getting everything ready for tomorrow. Lots of tournaments going on tomorrow. WSL, let's just see here. They always put the Champions League at the very bottom. So looking at it here, the standings, those are fixtures, always extra clicks. So obviously United have qualified, to say the least. They're in. We are up 5 points from there. We are, from my understanding is they are in from the points. Obviously, we have struggled. We are facing a very tough Juventus side. So we have to come away with something. We have to come away with some motivation. So that's the important thing. As much as we have 9 points, scoring has been a problem. Now, when you look at the goal differential, you'll understand that Wolfsburg game plus Lyon were 2 games that we did not want. So giving up those goals, was a challenge. So hopefully we can move on with that. Now, we do have teams still looking in, but we have to be able to get some points to continue on. Vålerenga, Heverlee, Leuven are some of those bottom teams there, but United need to get themselves back into it. We need to rebound tomorrow. We need to get goals back. We need to move the ball very well. So we have to take a look and see if this team can rebound from what they did against Lyon. They cannot allow us to struggle again. The pressure is going to be there. They are going to attack. We cannot capitalize on mistakes. Defensively, Lyon was fantastic. Juventus is going to be the exact same way, and they can score goals. Realistically, they can put up goals against us. We've only scored 6 in this tournament, and they've put up 13. Defensively, they've only let in 7, where we've let in 9. So tomorrow can be a challenge. What am I expecting I'm expecting the same probably lineup that they did last week, but realistically, I'm hoping Park is starting, Rolfo out on the left, Mallard in the middle. Hopefully Ella Toon gets the start as well. Hopefully, and again, the back 4, you might look at a substitution where George is starting. I don't want to say these words, but maybe Riviere comes off the bench. She needs rest. I think this is the right time to rotate and get someone in. Look at that back 4. You're probably going to look at Owojo and Olme probably starting. Miyazawa could start, but she did play. She did play on Sunday a lot. So again, rotation is key. We have one more match after today, but I think today is important that we clear that out and get that win. Because it's 6 games. Yeah, because we're already in. Because it's 6 games, we're already in. So like, again, it is practice, it is help, but this is a team that you want to come away confident in getting a win, because when we get to those stages, we're going to be facing tougher opponents. We could be facing Lyon again. We could be facing Wolfsburg again, Arsenal, Chelsea, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern. We could see Atletico again, but obviously with the way the standings are, but we have to be able to get things going. We have to move the ball in the middle. We have to look at stretching out on the wings. Transition is key. Again, they do a lot of movement out of the back, but try to stretch it. We can try with the team to stretch the field. It maybe work in our favor, get crosses in. But right now with the women's squad, we really need to start looking at the attack. Again, we have to get shots off. Last week, we got one shot. We had one corner. That wasn't until the 75th minute in the end against Lyon. We have to be better in those, not like statistically, no, but in those movements, we have to be way better than what it should be, because we have to be able to lay on the attack. We have to be able to score goals. We have to be able to improve and move the ball. Because again, as we continue on, we're going to be facing tougher opponents. We may be out of the knockout stage in that first game. We could be, depending on who we're playing. If it were to end today, we could be facing a very tough challenge. So right now, the squad has to be able to get everything going, get the ball moving. If we can take a win from Juventus and capitalize getting into even a higher spot, that can help us too. So this is a very important game. As much as I'm talking about we're already in for qualifications, if we can move up spots, that can help us too. With travel, with everything, having us there in a moment does help. So hopefully the women's squad can attack. Hopefully Skinner rotates, but rotating the right pieces, using people that they've used before. As much as we have a cup game on Sunday against Spurs, this is the game that we really need to work out. Because again, yes, we're in, but I think we'd be feeling better if we moved up a spot. Because if we can change positions, that changes our opponent too going in. If we can get field advantage, that helps out as well. So they're in for a tough opponent with Juventus. Just looking, I want to look at their last. They've had one loss in 5. Let me just take a look at their fixtures of who they face in Champions League. They beat out Polton 5-0. Drawing against Lyon, that can be concerning. Beating Atletico Madrid 2-1. Obviously, we've played them. Losing to Bayern. And then beating Benfica. So, listen, we have, when we face opponents like this, especially those high-scoring ones, we have struggled. And we have to be able to control the pace of the game. So, hopefully, Skinner has some good tactics for tomorrow to play against this. Listen, the game will be on. I'll do my post-game tomorrow. Yes, I will actually be doing the post-game tomorrow. I know the last couple days, no. But hopefully me rebounding back and getting everything going will get into a rhythm back, but talking about the post-game with player ratings and everything as well. So hopefully we have a good game tomorrow. United gets themselves back into it. Defensively, we have to be better. The crosses, the movement, the mistakes, the passes have to be crisp. That is the one thing too, where some of our passes that you see, it looks like we're always a step behind. So hopefully we can get them back, get the ball moving, and get goals as well, because we really need to get this offense moving as well. So one more segment to go. Obviously, this is going to be a little bit of a combination, but let's look at post-game, well, should I say game fallout with the men's squad, with everything that's been coming up. Okay. Obviously, we are at a standstill. So this morning, well, if we saw yesterday, we saw United obviously drawing. We saw Kobe Mainoo's brother wearing a shirt saying "Free Kobe." That has come out after 24 hours. Kobe has not acknowledged or said anything about it. You can leave question marks there to what you believe. The Bruno interview that came out talking about Ineos, Amorim wanting here, all that stuff, going to Saudi, that has come out. This interview was done in the international break. The Kobe thing, listen, this isn't the first United player's family member that has been in the news or made something going on social media. So we know what's there. What we do know is that there are struggles. We know the relationship between him and Amorim isn't the best, between Kobe and them. So they have to be working on something. Not only that, having this incident happen when you know that Casemiro is suspended for Sunday, you're going to be probably the starter. So how do you proceed going forth? Does that hurt your chances now? Listen, I've made my opinion about Kobe and Amorim, and I've said even some games Kobe should be in a lot more or starting. I have made my opinions on that. And I've made my opinions on the type of player Kobe has been and has been playing and has been struggling. So, listen, in the end, there are times I'm in favor of the manager and there's times I'm in favor of the player. I'm at this instance where the player, I get it, but you're making it out of, you're doing something that past players that we remove from the club for some of the people in their life really influx. Garnacho's brother was an issue. We know what happened with Rashford's brother. There has been instances like this. And we don't want Kobe to go down this trend, but it has been 24 hours and nothing has been said from what I've seen. So that could be a little cause for concern, especially with chemistry. You had Bruno's interview coming out today with it, talking about Ineos. He's talking about some of his teammates. The passion, the fight that they have for the club has to be there. This was done over a couple weeks ago. It wasn't done like right after the game. This came out today. So the Man United PR department is definitely working overtime today with everything going on. Sorry about that cough. So you're seeing that PR happening right now. And then obviously everything coming into yesterday's Bournemouth game, you have Ruben Amorim's talk of, yes, they've been experimenting with the 4-4-3. Now, let me take you back into DeLorean, go 88 miles per hour. Let's just go back to a couple months ago. He's talking about the 3-4-3. He talked about it's not the system, we know what it is. But there's also a press conference when he's talking about the system and how it's going to evolve and how we're doing things. So there we are, a couple months back, where he's talking about how we will be changing formations sometimes in the game, like a 4-3-3 or a 5. You know what I mean. So the 4-3-3 is not a surprise about that. There is talks of it will probably start off as a 3-4-3, but there's going to be games where we're going to transition into a 4-3-3, where we have to look at our back three. So for an example, you can have, let's say, Licha, Hit Heaven, and Euro starting, where you can, whether you have Delo or Dorgu, you can switch it around, bring them to the back. So you have your 4-3-3. And then when you're looking at your wings, it all depends on who you have starting in different positions. So yes, is the 4-3-3 and everyone misreading into it? Probably, because he has mentioned this before in a press conference. So is this a surprise now? Yeah, no, yes and no. The only surprise is because the pressure and everyone talking about the magical words are 4-3-3. That's what it is. The last couple of weeks of formation, switching to a 4-3-3, back four, all this stuff has come through. So here we are again. So it's really nothing new. But Amorim is definitely going to be working even more overtime this week too, because you have Kobe doing what he's doing with his brother. So now he's going to be questioning whether he needs to start, and that hurts. That hurts. Casemiro's out for a suspension. Bruno is probably going to be moved up to a 10 because we don't have Mbuemo and we don't have Ahmad because they're out. We don't have Mazraoui, so we're down a wing back. So Bruno's going to have to be somewhere else. You only have Ugarte and Kobe. Fletcher's probably going to be in this weekend. So right now, the one player that you're hoping to have start is doing this now, which hurts him even more. And if he doesn't start this weekend, if he doesn't, we know the reason why. They made it out again. In the words of Sir Alex, nobody is bigger than this club. And that's how it always should have been, and it's always been kept in-house. Obviously, we know the talk of the academy and everything going on. Some players have posted stuff and they've retracted it, but there are reasons. We don't want player power. We don't want entitlement anymore, but here we are. So, listen, it is PR nightmare probably for United. It's definitely a gold mining hour for all social media and all fan channels and everything as well. But it's there. It's there. We knew there was issues. Now the issues have been amplified. And when you're coming off of the game like this, we're going into a weekend where we need to win. We need to get points. We're going to a stretch where we don't have 3 players that we crucially need. That's where it is. And that's where the struggle is. So this is going to continue on all week. I'm sure we're going to hear more about it when I do Friday's episode of the pod. I won't do a Thursday. I'll do a Friday. Where we're going to see more, again, problems happening. So hopefully Kobe does start. Hopefully there is an in-house talk about what's going on that they're able to salvage, because, again, we have an important game. But is the world going to be upset if he doesn't start? Are we going to blame a player because of a family? But at that same time, too, has that player said, hey, we need to knock it off? So that's there. Bruno, the captain, has spoken. There are some things going on. Yes, you can talk about Saudi, the sale, everything going on. Do you want him to go? Do you want him to stay? The money, being felt like he was being pushed out. But when we look at it in the end, the one thing too is the captain talking about the players need to show more. That's the captain saying the players need to stand out. We know some of the players that are there to fight. We know that some of the newcomers have come in to show the fight. But everyone has to be there. All players, everyone on board has to show the fight and dedication. So, yeah. Yeah, all right. I'm going to leave it there because there's going to be more about it this week. We know tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, going into the game this weekend, we know there's going to be ample, loving conversation. So, as always, like, subscribe, follow, whether on YouTube, Apple Podcast, or Spotify. In Instagram, TikTok as well. And as always, thank you for those who follow, like, subscribe, comment, feedback. I greatly do appreciate it. But yes, I'll be back tomorrow with the post game of the Women's Champions League. No episode Thursday. Going to be out Friday with the episode previewing, obviously, the men's game on Sunday against Aston Villa. And then the women's game. Let me just get Man United schedule up here. I'm getting there. I am getting there. There we go. And then the women's game. Why are you not cooperating with me? And then the women's game, we have... What just happened here? Why am I... No, I don't want to do that. Almost ended my recording without even knowing. Excuse me. Let's do this again. Round 2. Get that up. Fixtures. Okay, West Ham, Lyon. And then we play Tottenham Sunday, 8 o'clock in the morning for the cup game. So it is a doubleheader for Manchester United. Again, Sunday against Juventus, and then afternoon against Aston Villa. So make sure you're tuning into those matchups as well. But yes, I'll be back tomorrow. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. This is the Red Devils Corner Kick podcast. Glory, glory, Man United.